of days are obviously not being done. The notion that this is about efficiency when you're laying off thousands of IRS agents, when it is well known that every dollar spent at the IRS returns for the government $6 or $7. You're clearly not talking about efficiency here as measured in any other way other than allowing wealthy people to get away with cheating on their taxes. I mean, I could go on, but there's absolutely no evidence that there's a single audit going on. To the extent that they've saved any money, it has been largely dismissed as clerical errors on their part, and we still have no substantiation about it. So it's
hang on, that's not true. I mean, there's some of the stuff that came out about USAID, for example, some of the way that American taxpayers' money was being squandered on ridiculous projects.
Check out this absolutely hilarious clip of Sam Seder on Piers Morgan's show where he gets into it with Benny Johnson and some lady, quite funny indeed. Make sure to subscribe.
Wait a second.
And it wasn't insignificant sums of money.
Wait a second. You can determine that you can have an opinion that it's squandered. I can have an opinion that it's squandered, but it's been appropriated by the Congress. And in America, we have actually both statutory, constitutional, and court cases that say the President of the United States and the executive branch cannot decide unilaterally that they're not going to appropriate money that Congress has appropriated. I mean, the line item video has been found to be unconstitutional. We have the Impoundment Control Act from 1974. We have Train v. New York City from 1974, which is a Supreme Court case which enforces that. What they're doing is fundamentally illegal. I mean, you may think that some of the spending is not worthy. I may think it's not worthy, but that's just not the way our government works.
Okay, Julian, you were shaking your head there.
Because it doesn't seem that the government is working. As a layman, when the USAID is exposed...
Pause. Can we just say, like, as a layman, as somebody who, like, sells caffeine pills for dietary purposes, like, that's not a normal layman.
And what does that mean, the government's not working? Like, what does that mean, the government's not working? Like, what is it that the government, she thinks the government should be doing that's not working?
Yeah.
Like... The Postal Service is not working. The Social Security is not working. The IRS hadn't found billions more dollars. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau hadn't saved consumers billions of dollars.
$21 billion returned to consumers for an $800 million annual cost. That's called pretty efficiency, a lot of efficiency, by the way. Hundreds, I think, or at least tens of millions of Americans receive those checks back from being scammed by our financial institutions.
I mean, she's not saying anything, and they're immediately going to go to essentially just bigotry and xenophobia with the USAID. They don't even have the wherewithal to, like, now, to her credit, at one point she does say, like, there are big payouts to corporations, which I am all in favor of them being genuinely anti-corporate. Right. And I will guarantee you that will not be happening.
No, because they represent the private businesses that benefit from a healthcare system that isn't public. Alternative medicine is an industry, and it's not regulated.
100%.
And she's promoting it, and I just gotta say, it's very satisfying to hear you give all of the reasons that it's both, like, constitutionally reinforced, that the Congress has the power of the purse, and then the executive branch has to faithfully execute that, and then give those examples and hear her admit, as a layman, but I'm just going to say the government doesn't work, and use that as my hinge point, because it's very easy to say the government doesn't work because it doesn't work in the way that we want to improve it. We want to tax the wealthy more so the government is better and provides more services to people, perhaps universal health care, perhaps universal pre-K, perhaps child care, and canceling student debt. You've got to do that through taxing the wealthy. So, but she just says it's broken. So what's her explanation?
Would Medicare for All cover her caffeine pills?
fashion that it has been, and all of a sudden we have this transparency that we've never had in my lifetime.
None of this stuff was hidden at all. None of this stuff was hidden at all. It's just that
so you're telling me that the average American knew that we were funding friggin' operas for trans people in
if
who
the
knows
average
where?
American was interested in what USAID was supporting, they
come
could have
on,
just
man.
gone
Do
to the
you
website
really
and-
believe that?
Yes,
Do you
it's
really
true.
believe that people knew this and this was common knowledge?
100% I
And there's
believe
no
it, because it's
question
100%
that some of
true.
this was a
None of this
slush
was
fund for the
secret.
CIA.
Well, actually, you know what? The truth is, you can both be right here.
Sam's
right.
right.
Sam is right that it was there to be found.
Yeah,
And Gillian's right that absolutely nobody told the American people about the specifics. So actually, you can both
know
be
what
right.
can happen in our process of government?
No, I understand. I'm not saying you're
can
wrong.
vote to
I'm not saying it
defund
wasn't there. I'm not saying it wasn't there to be found. But Benny, it was only when Elon Musk and his young team.
Pause it for a second. You know how the American public is intimately aware of how the $900 billion annually is spent with the Defense Department.
Mm-hmm.
This guy Sam has an ability to get under people's skin that not many people can. He seems like such a clown.
I mean, or oil lease giveaways, or I don't know, corn subsidies, or any other functioning. In fact, I don't think most Americans realize that their Medicaid is necessarily paid by the government, or Medicare Advantage. What a ripoff it is for Americans. There's a lot of things that dwarf the tens of millions of dollars that are spent on Sesame Street in Iraq, which, frankly, based upon what we did to that country, we should be putting a lot more into stuff like this. Or are we actually helping fund things in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we promised that we would rebuild that country after we destroyed it.
There's been past studies that 1 in 4 Americans, it ranges on in the election cycle, don't even know who the vice president is. So if she's saying that, of course they don't know these very obscure
I
line
discovered
items.
who the vice president is. I'm the one who's telling everybody.
The point is that, we should be educating the public more about what our government does, but all of this has been available because of the inspectors general and what they do through the normal functions of our government.
No, it's not
auditing
Inspector
these.
General. Listen, all this stuff that USAID did, except for maybe some of the covert stuff, is laid out on their website. We don't know anything that wasn't readily available before.